So you'll see here, here's the green coarse polisher. So once I've removed that sprue and I'm pretty happy with the way it looks, this is gonna take out all of those surface scratches all the way around the perimeter of this restoration. So I'm just going to go around the periphery here, grab that coarse twist polisher, and I'm just gonna start to use this to give me a really, this is what I consider sort of, really pre-finishing or pre-polishing the restoration. We just wanna get rid of any kind of scratches. So that's what we're doing. So I'm just working my way around. Be careful that you're not too aggressive in those contact areas, because these contacts are pretty spot on and we don't want to lose the contact. So a lot of times I'll try to be super gentle in those areas, and I'll work on the contacts a little bit more once it's out of the SpeedFire. So you'll see here this can get nicely into those grooves and give me what I need to start to get all of those little bit of lines that I don't want in there. Next, we'll move to the blue polisher. So you'll see the blue polisher here. So here's the medium twist blue. So we'll take it after we've finished with the green, and we're just gonna do the same thing. And it's gonna be like Groundhog Day here. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to first work with, we're gonna now, when you're looking at this live, you'll start to see almost a little bit of not brightening, but a shininess to this chalk look to it as you're working with when you get to the medium and then when you get to the fine. And it really starts to get a nice kind of luster to it, like the chalk has like a brightness to it, or a shine. And with that, when you throw it in the oven, when we're done with all of these different twist polishers, it comes out a lot of times. Sometimes I can get it where I don't even need to do any post work on this. Now what you'll see here is, as I'm working on this is our fine twist polisher. So again, it'll start getting more and more shiny in the chalk phase. I'm gonna show a little picture in a bit when I have this restoration sitting next to the final product when it comes out of the oven. And you'll notice I'm working on this right now. This is not going to be tried in the patient's mouth. It's 23% bigger. There's no way we could get it into the mouth. And if we did, number one, it would get wet, so we'd be in the longer sintering time. And number two, if the patient tried to bite on it, they'd break it. So we go, what's always incredible to me is how they know how much to shrink this stuff. It looks so arbitrarily large, and the next thing you know, it comes out of the oven and it looks perfect. So we're on our final burr here, our final twist polisher, and this is the extra fine. So again, we're walking through the extra fine twist polisher. We've gone through the first three. And again, each one of these is about 30 seconds of time. Because this is so soft, it will tend to polish up pretty darn nicely as we're working our way through, just in this state alone. So you see here, so I'll walk through this last little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and we'll get ready to place it into the SpeedFire. So once you're done doing all of the polishing, you're going to have this polishing dust, and you're gonna have zirconia dust. Now, when I bought my practice, my lab does not have air built in where I can kind of just use compressed air. So I just buy these keyboard cans to dust off your keyboard, and I use that in my lab to make sure all of the debris is removed from the restoration. So you want to get in there and make sure that you're blowing off all of that. Let me go back here. You're blowing off all of that zirconia dust and all of the polishing paste dust. What you'll find is that if you leave that zirconia dust, especially on the intaglio of the crown, that's going to sinter into the intaglio, so when you go to seat it, you're not gonna get a proper seat of the restoration. It's gonna hold up on those little dust particles. So you wanna make sure it's super clean. So you'll go ahead and air dry it, and then I recommend getting these brushes. This is a sharp little brush that you get in there, and you really dust out the inside of that crown, outside too, to make sure that the fit is intimate on the intaglio, and that there's no granulation on the top that gets sintered in that's going to affect the bite. So I make sure I get in there real good and do that, and then once that's done, I'll air dust it one more time, and we're ready to put it in the oven. So here's our SpeedFire, and what you'll see here is the SpeedFire is open. It'll tell you that what the sintering time is going to be on this one, which is 22 minutes and 30 seconds, I believe. And we just hit that arrow in the bottom right corner on the little touchpad, and the SpeedFire raises up. And now when the SpeedFire, that will go for the distance, and then you'll see that SpeedFire come down. And this thing comes out a glowing orange. It looks like a meteor coming out of there. And then when you put them together, you'll be able to see, once the sintering is completed, how much that shrinkage is, and it's significant. So you'll see here, you can see on the left, that's the restoration before we placed it in the oven, obviously, that's the white. And on the right, I have not touched it yet since when it came out of the mill. So that's what it's going to look like when it comes out sintered in, and you pre-polish. Now, if you would like to go and take that polish to a little bit of a higher luster, you can go ahead. Oh, there's another one. There's a picture there that'll come out. So we want to go ahead and we want to kind of enhance that a little bit. What I find, or what I've been kind of trying to test, and this is just anecdotal from me, I find that if I work with these polishing burrs before I start, and I can get this pre-polished or almost finished polished look to it, when I go to just put a fine polisher on this and then some Robinson brushes, the porcelain or the zirconia doesn't turn that opal look that polished zirconia tends to get. When you start polishing zirconia out of the oven, you'll see in a lot of the zirconias that are out there, when you start to polish them to extensively, they get a very opal kind of a translucency or a look to them. And so it won't always match what the other teeth look like on the surface. So this torch tends to cut that opal aspect down.